For those of you that don't know, earlier today, both head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Michael Malone, and the GM, Calvin Booth, were shown the door with just 3 games left to hit the playoffs, shown the door in a Mile High City, man. So with that, another coach biting the dust, and Tom Thibodeau drawing the ire of Knicks fans seemingly after every loss. The fan base throws a tin full of koofies on, and they're ready to see some changes, and maybe ready to see Michael Malone in here. So what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, my thoughts is this is a time, CP, in the NBA that we in the NBA, because I'm saying in sports, I'm like, I don't know, football, some wild stuff has happened in football too, but in the NBA, this is unprecedented. This is the first time. Like, is this the new norm? Is this what's going to happen? You have 2 teams that are going to be contenders in the tough Western Conference, albeit the tough Western Conference, and they both got fired before the playoffs in the second half of the season. You don't see that, and it's just, even with the rift and the reported stuff, Calvin Booth wanted Michael Malone supposedly to play some of the young players. He didn't like that he played Russell Westbrook as much. He's like, all that stuff. It's still like, is that enough? Like, we hear that here with Tibbs, and you don't see that that's enough to like get the organization to make such a drastic move. It's like, give them the playoffs. But I just wonder if this is gonna be, because every league, when things happen, everybody copycats. Like, did Denver feel more like, hey, Memphis just did it, so what's the problem? Like, because these owners have a different mindset than everyone else. A lot of these owners, people forget, a lot of these owners are businessmen. They're not actually like die-hard sportsmen. Just look at the James Dolan interview, on Roommates. James Dolan is not the most basketball knower.
He's not in the details like that.
He's not in the details. People forget the reason he hired Phil Jackson. Like, when he hired some of these guys, is because he wanted to actually give somebody else the full operation. I don't want to make decisions no more. Everybody's killing me because, I make decisions. So this is maybe the new norm. And now, I look at, listen, you can't help but look at our situation and say, is this something that could happen here if we don't have playoff success? Now it's different because there's relationships, but I don't know, man. Since when we gave up Dante DiVincenzo, I kind of felt like Leon Rose may have shown just a little bit of guts in willing to win a championship. So this is just something that's shocking, and maybe this is something that it's not going to be a surprise anymore in the future of the NBA for front office decisions.
Yeah. Agreed on everything you just said there. So many things that I think about with this firing. The timing is that's cold-blooded, man. First and foremost, from this Kroenke family, that's cold-blooded. The timing is just crazy for both coach and GM. And as you said, it just speaks to the fact that owners aren't fans. They're business people. They're here for the most part. Yeah, they want to win a championship. But this question was asked on as I was listening to NBA radio today. Like, how many owners are that gung ho about the prospects of winning a championship, like a Cuban or like a Bomber, who seem to be so fully stoked and invested in this thing? But as Mark Cuban has said many times, owning a team is not as it's not as rosy as people make it out to be. You get your money when you sell the team, but on the year-to-year operations, when you got to pay for this thing, it's not so. And so that's why he got out of the Mavs. And you look at the Kroenkes, they own damn near all the Colorado sports teams and Arsenal, who's right now in the Champions League against Real Madrid. So they're coughing up a lot of money. Now, does that factor into this decision? When it comes to the second apron, it seems like it, because they had no choice. They lost Bruce Brown, right, which everyone knew was going to be part of like a big challenge for them to get back into championship glory. But they never replaced him because they doubled down by not signing KCP. So you lost 2 of your biggest defenders. Then after that, You never did anything to make the team better outside of signing Russell Westbrook and drafting a bunch of guys, a bunch of young guys. So clearly this ownership was not invested in this team. And the directive was clearly to the GM and to the coach, do with what you have and make the most of it and bring us back to the championship.
And then that's when you get, then, as you mentioned, is a chain of command and a trickle-down effect, because then now you have the GM and the head coach looking at each other like, okay, how are we going to make this happen? And Mike Malone has one philosophy, and reportedly Calvin Booth had another philosophy of how to go about this thing. And the problem is Michael Malone is probably looking at Calvin Booth like, do you see this guy Russell Westbrook's resume? He's a pretty volatile personality. Like, how can I just, you saw the whole thing with Carmelo when Carmelo had to accept, that wasn't easy for him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for the teams that were coaching him. Right. So it's a very, very tough spot. But man, bro, a couple games. It's like, wait, you didn't, like a lot of this had to be personal. It's like,
yeah.
What if they just didn't want Michael Malone to be there no more? Because again, here's the thing. If they let it go and Michael Malone has a successful playoffs, how do you justify firing him then?
Right.
Like, okay, if we let this happen, let's say the owner doesn't want him there because of a rift. But if I let him coach the playoffs and this guy takes us to the NBA Finals, how can I fire him now?
Right.
I don't want him here no more. So it's like, I'd rather take the PR hit now. And hey, maybe one of these lead assistants or a young coach can take over, and I can do it then. But that's and you see, and it's crazy. It happened to Michael Malone, and if you remember, Michael Malone is one of the head coaches that speaks out when all these other moves around the NBA have happened. He's the one that's been upset at some of the other firings. He came and defended Adrian Griffin when he was fired because Michael Malone is outspoken. And it's just interesting how, he is a coach that has covered other coaches, supported other coaches, has criticized other ownerships and front offices when they've made certain decisions. And then now he gets canned. Unbelievable.
Well, one thing for sure is that this was clearly signed off on by number 15. Nikola Jokic. I mean, come on, man. Like, you're going to tell me that they didn't go to the franchise player, the guy who's having an all-world year, just won the championship, the franchise player. You want to tell me they didn't let him know, like, hey, listen, this is 3 days before the playoffs. What do you think about this? And
you think he's in on it?
Absolutely. Nikola Jokic was probably like, yo, listen, if he lives, he lives. He dies, he dies. How would you do that? You cut the knees for right out from under
Jokic
them.
just seems like a guy like, hey, so what do you think? Jokic's like, if y'all want to do that, listen, I'm just going to go back and keep horse riding. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Like, he just seems like such a laid back, like, I don't care type of guy. But
I can't see it, bro. David Adelman, he's in a no-win situation. He's in a no-win situation, bro. Like, I can't see them just doing this without the Joker knowing. And this is a guy that you want to keep happy
no,
here?
I think he knows, but do you think it's something that he said, go ahead and do it? Like, he signed off on it. That's a different thing. Because as a player, you have to be smart enough if you're Jokic to say, okay, look, that's what y'all want to do. But if you go all out with the front office and you talking about the second apron, how can Jokic look at a future in Denver and say, oh, I'm going to side with ownership if there's no other ways to make this team better? I mean, he might want out next year. Who knows? Because how are they going to make the team better?
Right.
If anything, does Jokic support Calvin Booth's, like, play the young guys? Like, what is Jokic's thoughts on how he believes this second phase of his Denver career is going to pan out with the financial restrictions and quite frankly, some of the role players with the Gordons, Jamal Murray's not, they gave Jamal Murray $200 million, bro. He don't look like the same Jamal Murray.
He don't look like the same guy. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because this is what the chat want to hear.
Yeah.
We got the Denver part of it. With what's going on around the NBA, Casey Powell, do you think this could mean that our current head coach has a little bit of a little bit of pressure to perform here in the upcoming NBA playoffs.
Certainly not coaching that way as it looked tonight. I mean, your man just got canned, across the coast here, and you still stumbling and bumbling around in crunch time. Like, bro, you would think he would have turned into, the Wizard of Westwood tonight with the clipboard.
I mean, coach tonight like he got guaranteed an extension.
Yeah, I mean, with Worldwide West and them lurking around, you just never know. So he should be. He should be. But I do think, because I put this out there on Twitter, and it got a lot of reaction because
of course, anything you do.
Yeah, of course.
When it comes to Tibbs.
Yeah, they think I'm covering for the coach when I never said anything about that. All I'm asking the question as the conductor is, this guy has a reputation. This is not coming from me. This is coming directly from Nuggets fans. The reputation: lousy rotations, not playing the young guys enough, not playing his bench enough, grinding his team down, players not supporting him. These are all the same things we hear from Tibbs. These are all the same things.
I don't see it.
So I'm just asking the question. And here it is, 3 games before the playoffs, and his star player signed off on his departure. That's all I'm saying. I just asked the questions here. I'm not saying don't bring him here. All I'm asking is this not the same complaints that we hear now?
So you're saying bring him here?
People think with the Knicks Fan TV thing, I'm like, don't bring anybody else here. No. If you're going to bring somebody here, bring them in here and make sure that they can take this team to the next level. I'm trying to win a championship. I'm not here for Coach of the Year awards. I'm trying to win a championship.
They're trying to say they finally got an answer for that $1 million question of whenever someone has a strong opinion on the head coach and people say, well, who are you going to bring in here?
Yeah.
They're saying they got a name.
Well, you got Taylor Jenkins. You got Mike Malone now.
Listen, I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing.
Not playing the young players.
I don't see how Mike Malone is a fit with this front office.
He thought his bench was trash. Y'all say develop. You can develop benches. You can turn sugar into shit. It would shit into sugar, whatever it is. Okay.
I don't know if this front office is ready. Mike Malone does not seem like the guy that is gonna come in here and try to fake injury reports like this front office loves Tibbs to do. They're not trying to be. He's not the guy that's just gonna be fully compliant with your procedures. He seems like a guy that has built himself to a point where he's going to go to an organization. You're going to let me do what I do. You're going to let me speak at these press conferences the way I want to speak. You're going to let me express myself the way that I like to express myself. You're going to let me challenge players the way I want to challenge players. I don't know that that's a fit with what this front office may want to do. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. But it seems like a younger Tibbs from what I hear, right? A younger, more energetic, you could say better coach Thibodeau, but it seems like a younger version of that. I'm ready. If we go that route, I'm ready to take a risk on the next Udoka, right? On the next, next young coach, the guy in OKC. I'm ready to follow what professional sports has pivoted to in this generation, where you no longer need to be a 15-year assistant to be a head coach in the NFL, in the NBA, and even in Major League Baseball. It's just shifting. Maybe it's financials, whatever it is, philosophy, relating to the new players, whatever it is. But this is the way business is run now. And it's not, a veteran coach. But if we go that route in the future, I think the Knicks are better off just taking a risk with a young, promising, respected, young head coach, up and coming former player. Lakers did that with JJ Redick. Is paying off for them.
Yeah,
I think that's the route. I think that's the way to go.
Denver defense 20th in the league. Somebody on Twitter was at me like, "Oh man, at least his team's not a cover to 3." Well, they were 20th in the league in defense. They were 20th in the league in 3-pointers attempted, made, and percentage by the opponent. I mean, the numbers are out there. Denver's never had a strong defense like that. They've had good players. They've never had a strong defense like that. Just something to think about, man. I'm just asking the questions here.
Just the conductor.
I'm just a conductor. You have a guy who, as all the reports are trickling out, he was too hard on the players. What was Josh Kroenke's statement today for the players after they fired him? Play hard and have fun.
Does that sound like a owner that wants to win a championship? That sounded like when I was in Little League.
Yeah, whatever.
Just have fun.
Yeah,
man.
just have fun.
Forget the results of the game. Just have fun.
Hey, for new customers, here's something special for you guys. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly using our code KFTV. Once again, that's with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Remember to play responsibly. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, and this is for new customers only. The bonus bets will expire 168 hours after issuance. And for additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.